This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a look at the Tom BIHN Side Hustle, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. If you find this video helpful, make sure you subscribe so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. Let's dive in. So if you're new to Tom BIHN, we typically expect very durable materials and well thought out organization, and that rings true here. Like usual, if you know about Tom BIHN, you're used to this, you know what you're looking at. But this is Blue Sign approved, or Blue Sign certified, I should say, high tenacity 2x2 ballistic nylon. It kind of has a Cordura look to it, but it's very durable, water resistant, and also it's got that Blue Sign approval, so you know that it is sustainable. I really like this colorway. It does kind of have a heritage feel to it, especially with, the classic Tom BIHN logo here. Kind of reminds me of the JanSport I had when I was in high school. Overall, I really do dig the look of this thing, but I understand that it might not be for everybody. We've got YKK zips here on the top and front compartment. No zippers inside, so those are the only zippers in this entire pack. They work as you'd expect them to, and in typical Tom BIHN fashion, you get the extra zipper pulls on the inside so you can kind of move things around how you wish if you want to change them out. A lot of customizability with Tom BIHN, which if you're into that kind of thing, it's awesome, and if not, it doesn't really get in your way, so no harm, no foul. We've got Duraflex buckles here on the strap, nice little swivel there. Nothing to complain about, they work as they should, and also with the hard plastic adjuster here, doesn't get in your way, and it stays locked in the position you want it to be, and you can adjust it pretty easily. But overall, there really isn't a ton going on the outside of this pack. It's not overloaded with attachment loops or anything like that. I do dig the pulls that just come standard here. I never added any of the extras on. I kind of just like it nice and simple. These are a little bit jangly, as you can hear, but that doesn't bother me too much because how often are you really like shaking while you're walking with this thing? Underneath where the strap attaches here, there are 2 little loops. I think those are more so just decorative, but I was able to actually attach a carabiner on there to attach another piece of gear. So if you want to add things on the outside, that's really your only option. You could, in theory, I guess, put a little lock on these zipper pulls, but overall, nothing really going on the outside. So let's talk about how it fits. So on the back panel side here, as you can see, there's no aeration or anything like that. And on the strap, we've got no aeration or padding either. There's no padding inside this material, so it's really just the materials that are there. And as you can see, you can kind of see the outline of what I've got stowed in the back of the main compartment. So depending on what you stow inside here, you can kind of feel it. But because this thing is so kind of tall and skinny, flat items do better here anyways. So if you're putting a flat item there, it's just going to kind of rest flat on your side, and it is pretty comfortable. And typically when things don't have mesh or anything to keep things cool, I get really hot. But because this is a kind of a messenger style bag, it's kind of moving around a lot and kind of bouncing a little bit. So it's not really ever in one place for an extended period of time. I did ride with it on my back once on my bike, and that did get a little bit warm because it wasn't moving around so much. But overall, happy with the comfort of this thing. And I was a little bit surprised by that because again, there is no padding or aeration or anything like that. This strap does extend to, I believe it is 53 inches or so when it's fully extended, which is about 134.5 centimeters. So you do have quite a long strap, and then you can adjust it to be a lot shorter if you like to wear things a bit tighter on your body like I do. So overall, pretty happy with the comfort. If you love padding and aeration, as you can see, that's not here, but I have to admit I was surprised by how comfortable this thing was. So this is typically the height that I like to wear it at. It's not, I don't know, maybe it doesn't look the best when you have it on your front like this, but it does give you quick access. You can really get into everything really quickly, have access to your gear. When you put it on your side, it's kind of like this, so it's like almost like an armrest or like a sling for your arm. And then when you slide it to your back, I'll turn around. It doesn't hang too low, and it's just pretty comfortable. I don't like it when they hang so low that it goes like below your lower back. So that's just kind of my happy place for where the strap length. And I do dig that these do swivel, as I mentioned when we were talking about the hardware, because if it gets tangled up, it's really easy to untangle. But I will say when I went to put it on a lot of the time, this thing would get tangled up and you'd have to untangle it almost every time. So unless you like hang it up perfectly, you're gonna have some tangle issues when you go to put it on. But overall, as I said, very comfortable, especially if you're not having that padding or aeration. So on the back side here, as you probably saw earlier, we do have this slide pocket right here. So this is nice if you're going to the park or you're maybe going on public transit and you want to have like a book with you. You could also slide your tablet in here if you wanted to. You got quick access to it, and it is against your body, so it's not really out there in the open. I don't think I would probably put my phone or wallet there if I was riding public transit or something, but you know, if you're by yourself or you're just going for a walk, I would say it's safe to put it there. There's no topper, as you can see, and no padding, so I wouldn't leave my tablet in there all the time, but it's nice just for quick access so you don't have to rummage through the bag to get your stuff. The other secondary compartment is just here on the front. We went through that. So it opens like so. And I've just got my packable jacket in here. This is from Decathlon. It's big enough to hold, you know, this is not by any means the smallest packable jacket. And that fits in there. It does give it a little bit of kind of like a bulkier appearance from like the side there. But when it's out, you can see it's a lot less bulky. But I just like having quick access to that, especially this time of year in Michigan. It's spring, it likes to rain unannounced, so you can kind of just have your jacket at the ready, and it fits inside here without an issue. But looking inside, there's no organization inside of here. I've got those zipper pulls and stuff that I was mentioning earlier that Tom Bin will send you with the bag, so you can add those if you'd like. But as you can see, no organization inside of here. We do have this key leash that is attached to this O-ring. This is the only O-ring inside of this front compartment. Tom Bin is known for their O-rings, and they often put it on the product pages how many they have. So this one has 5, and this is the only one here in the front. So if you don't want this key leash, you can remove it, put it in the main compartment, or just take it off entirely. I didn't really use it because I have a wallet that's kind of has my wallet and my keys on it, but I kept it in there just because you never know when you might want to attach something to it, and it wasn't getting in my way because I was just kind of using this as a dump pocket. Wasn't taking up too much space anyways. So this is a good time to mention that there are 2 different liner materials, and I'm going to read them off just so I make sure I get them right. It just depends on which colorway you go with. So we've got Blue Sign and, I don't even know how to say it, Oiko Tex Certified 200 Diener Halicon nylon ripstop, or you can go with Blue Sign Certified 210 Diener Ceylon 6.6 ripstop nylon, and that's the material that this one has. No issues with it, and obviously because it is that bright colorway, you can see your gear a bit better, which I think matters a little bit more once you get into the main compartment. But overall, very durable. You can see that ripstop texture there, maybe at least a little bit there with the camera. But overall, very happy with both materials on the inside and the outside. And as a University of Michigan graduate, I like the blue and yellow colorway. So go blue if you're a fan of Michigan. But again, very happy with, I mean, it just doesn't seem like this thing would be comfortable considering how thin the materials are, but it is, and it handles gear very well and is durable and water resistant. So moving into the main compartment, that is where the real party is. So we'll open it up like this. And as I do that, I should mention that, so as you can see, it's standing on its own right now, but depending how you pack the gear inside of there and where you put it, if you have something heavier in this front compartment, it kind of tends to like fall over. So just something to be noted of. I mean, obviously it's tall and skinny, so you kind of expect that, but just something I thought was worth noting. If you put something heavier on the bottom, it can kind of hold it up a bit. So opening this up now, this is a few of the things I use this for. So I've just got my tech pouch that comes everywhere with me, and I threw that in there. And that's nice because I like to have this because it has mostly, this is actually mostly just a charger carrier for me. So I can pretty much put everything that needs charging inside of here and then also have the means to charge it. So if I'm going out for the day and I don't know if I need to charge up my phone or my emulator or something like that, I have everything I need right there. And then I can use it if I need to. But now that that's out of the way, you can see this is a very large area, and I found it kind of hard to utilize. As you saw, even with this big tech pouch in here, I still had quite a bit of space, and it's awkward because you're like stacking gear. So you have, because it's so tall, you know, you can see how tall this thing is compared to my hand. Like you have to put gear on the bottom and then stack something on top, then stack something on top of that. And then when it comes to getting the gear on the bottom, like say you need to grab the tech pouch and there's stuff on top, you kind of like got to get around, and things are just kind of going every which way. So I think that's important to note, but there is a ton of room for gear. So if you just need to bring it, like you just want to bring it just in case, and you don't really care if it's a little bit disorganized, that's more than fine. But for your smaller gear, there is quite a bit of organization here. So I've got my wallet stowed that I mentioned earlier, just in this liner pocket here, quite a bit more space than I needed it for. I never really filled up many of these pockets except for this one here. These are all pretty big liner pockets. I guess maybe I just don't carry that much stuff, but they are pretty big pockets. Like I actually should have tried that. Does this, yep, this Kindle actually fits inside of that compartment. So they're really big, whereas this is the actual tablet compartment back here on the backside, and that fits inside just this compartment here. But this is where I stowed my phone. This is one of the smaller liner pockets, but as you can see, it's a pretty tight fit. I have a standard sized iPhone 11, and there is a case on there, but it's not a huge case by any means. So if you have a plus sized phone, and if you have a plus sized phone with a case, you might struggle to fit your phone inside there, and then you've got to put it in one of these other pockets, and you're going to have a lot of leftover room. And it's going to be kind of wobbling around a little bit, which I think is worth noting if you want somewhere specific to put your phone. On this side over here, we've got these 2 pen pockets. They're big enough to fit a stylus. I've got an off-brand stylus from Amazon, and that also fit inside of here, no issues. Let me pull that. The pen does not want to come out of there. And then as you saw, this is the tablet sleeve. It's not necessarily a tablet sleeve. You could put a lot of different things here if you wanted to, but I just have a Kindle with me right now. Quite a bit of room to spare. You can fit an iPad in here, depending on the size of the iPad. So quite a bit of space, but again, no padding here on this side or this side. So I don't think I would put, the Kindle's okay because it's not super expensive, but if you have an iPad and you don't want it to break, I would put it in a case before you put it inside here, especially if you're gonna be carrying it around all day. So on the other side, as I mentioned, you've just got those 2 big liner pockets. You know, you can put a lot of gear in here, but smaller gear is gonna kind of get lost and maybe fall to the bottom. Here are 2 of those O-rings on the front side, and then on the back side, we've got 2 more O-rings. So the world is your oyster when it comes to O-rings, especially with Tom Bihn bags. Lots of modular options and lots of other smaller Tom Bihn gear that you can slot inside here. But as you can see, quite a bit of organization. Some of it just feels like they took one of their smaller packs and made it a bit bigger, and that's why those pockets are so big. So not super intuitive, but it worked for my needs. Everything fit. They were like almost like they were wearing, like all my stuff was wearing baggy clothing. But overall, very happy with how much I could fit inside of here, but just getting to some of the gear sometimes was a little bit tricky, but it carried the gear. I was able to get it, and it got it there safe, and really no issues to report with it, just a little bit awkward sometimes. But overall, very happy with how much I could fit inside there, how comfortable it was, and again, you gotta love that colorway. So there you have it, the Tom Bihn Side Hustle. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you on the next one.